So we're looking at a new Marvel Legends figure today that maybe isn't so new because it has been all over the internet. People have gotten it all over. You've been able to import it from Mexico for quite a while now, but it's only just officially been released here in the States, and that is, of course, the Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer figure. So I've said previously on some other reviews that I'm a big mutant fan when it comes to the Marvel Universe, but my other favorite aspect of Marvel is the cosmic side of things. And I mean, Silver Surfer, he is top tier when it comes to the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. So this is one I'm very, very happy to finally have and to take a look at. He is here in our standard Marvel Legends box. You see him there in the window. We've got the Walgreens exclusive sticker on the package. And then on the back, we have got product shots and a write-up for Norrin Radd himself. So let's pull him out and take a look. All right, guys, here he is out of the package. Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd himself, and this is an interesting figure. So there is some stuff that I like here, there is some stuff that I don't like here, and then there's just some odd stuff to talk about. So we're going to take a look at Articulation first, see how this guy moves around, and then we'll take a look at all the rest of him. As far as moving this guy around goes, he is basically perfect as far as I'm concerned. He is on, you know, what is currently my favorite Marvel Legends body. So this is the one that we've got, like the new Spider-Man 2099, Bullseye, Sunfire, things like that. And in general, I really like this body. I think it's perfect for Silver Surfer. It's not too small, but it's also not too beefy. But it's very well muscled and it just looks nice. So as far as moving him around, the head is on a disc hinge with a ball. So pretty standard stuff. Swivel side to side, up, well, all the way up if you pop his head off, down, and there's no real bobble action or anything like that. But you get as much movement as you would normally expect. The arms can go all the way out, all the way around. We do, of course, have that butterfly joint, which I love. We've got bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, so you get, you know, a little bit more than 90 degrees. And then we've got hinge and rotation at those wrists. Ab crunch goes back, forward. Mine is kind of loose, and I mean, not even kind of loose, it's loose, but not in a way that seems to hinder anything. Like, once you move it, it's fine. It just moves, maybe moves easily is a better way to say it. It just doesn't seem to click very well, but it honestly hasn't presented a problem at all either. We can swivel side to side on the waist, so there's plenty of good rotation there. Yeah, just loose. So we can kick legs out only that far, kick forward, kick back, thigh cut. We've got double jointed knees, so all the way back, a shin swivel, and then we've got rocker and hinge at the ankles. So, you know, if you're used to this body, you know exactly what to expect here. This is pretty standard stuff. There's really nothing new here, nothing missing. So I think this was the perfect choice for this particular figure. I think as far as articulation goes, he moves about as well as I would expect. The only real caveat I've got is this, but again, once you move him, he stays where you're going. He just moves really easily. And again, I don't know if that's unique to me or not. I'm sure it's not 100% across the board, but it's worth noting. Now, in the looks department, I would say he shines. No pun intended, really. So this is, like I said, a very fitting body for the Silver Surfer. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's very well muscled, and overall, I mean, it just looks like the body that you would want to use for the Silver Surfer. The big area of contention for me is in the finish on him. And I think this is honestly about as good as we could have ever expected to get from Hasbro. There's always, you know, a part of me that's going to wish that that we would have gotten like a vac metallized Silver Surfer. Just imagine how awesome that would be. But I know we're not going to get it. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with what they delivered here. Sure, it could be shinier. It could be, you know, a more chrome style paint. But this works really well, and it's honestly the shiniest thing on my Legends shelf for sure now. And what I have noticed, and what I didn't really know ahead of time, I didn't watch any other reviews for anybody doing this guy, because, you know, he's been around for a while, is this is paint. It's not cast plastic. I kind of assumed that it was going to be some sort of metallic cast plastic, but it's not. And the joints are painted. You can see the hinges are painted, and some of them are kind of chipping, which I honestly expect to see in a painted joint. It's just kind of unavoidable. So it's not really an issue. It's just something to note. But in general, I think he looks really, really solid. It's very nice. It's a very bright, silvery sheen. It's not chrome in that regard, but he does reflect light really well. And in general, I think he looks very, very comic inspired, very much like what I would expect a Silver Surfer to look like. In that regard, he does have a pretty solid head sculpt. We've got the black under the eyes, the white pupils, and then we've got the black on the lip. It kind of adds a little bit of a shadow almost. And the head sculpt is really, really plain and neutral, but at the same time, that's the Silver Surfer. So we've got a head sculpt that I think really fits the figure, and the body is just like seemingly made for this particular character. I couldn't imagine a different body being used for Silver Surfer, and I'm glad that they went this route for him. The only real other thing to talk about was the coloration and the paint on him, and I think he looks really good despite the fact that there's always other options to make him more shiny. But at the same time, I can understand why Hasbro went this route in terms of, you know, overall cost. And I think they did a pretty good job. And he's very, very clean and crisp and just all around very, very shiny. Very much what I wanted out of Silver Surfer. Now, in terms of accessories, we do have a pretty big spread. And this is where some of the positives come in and some of my negatives come in. So we have got, obviously, different hands. You've seen them throughout this review so far. We have got a set of kind of open palm style posed hands. We've got one for each. And then we've got 2 fist hands. And then we've also got these kind of open palm but flat style hands. We've seen these with Namor figures in the past. So you can use them when he's on his board, you know, kind of surfing through the cosmos. And that's what these are for. And they fit the character perfectly. So we've got 6 total hands with this figure, which is pretty unprecedented for a Legends figure. And then, of course, we have got effect pieces. This is definitely a negative for me because I don't really think these fit Silver Surfer. I've said in the past, I just hate this effect design. They never fit on the character's hands or the wrists very well. They just look goofy, and I feel like they're really overused. But these are good in terms of color, which at the very least is okay, but I'm not really sure these fit the Silver Surfer. So we've got kind of a yellow amber type color with a bunch of glitter in them. So they look good. And I like the difference in terms of colors on these, but I just don't think they work with this figure. And it just comes down to personal preference. If you like these, that's fantastic. I just don't at this point. I would much rather have something else, and I really don't think that there's anything in the Legends arsenal right now that fit the Silver Surfer. But these they don't do it for me. All right, last but certainly not least, we have got, obviously, the big thing with this figure is that he does come with his surfboard. And this thing's pretty big. It's taller than the figure itself. So it does have some size to it. It's definitely a larger piece of plastic than you're normally used to getting in a Legends box. It's got the kind of stripe design that runs down the surfboard, and then there's nothing on the bottom. He has a set of peg holes in either foot, and then you've got a peg on the board so you can pop him on with either foot if you so choose. And then he's ready to go. But this is where my big criticism of this figure comes in. And I know that they crammed a bunch of stuff into this box, but I would have much rather had fewer hands if I could have had a stand of some kind. Take out the effects, take out the extra hands, give me a stand, because this is the major flaw with this figure, is that there is no way without extra stuff that doesn't come with the figure to make him dynamic when he's on this board. He might as well be standing on the ground right now. And that's just not this figure. That's not the character. So while I love the fact that they included it, it fits perfectly. I think it's sculpted well enough. I just wish it had a stand. It's really hard to want to pose him riding on this thing if I'm just going to have it flat on my shelf when I can't really see it unless I'm looking down upon it. It's going to be hard to notice when I'm at eye level with this thing. So it's kind of cool. I dig it, but I'm going to have to figure out some way to attach it to a stand because this setup right here it just doesn't do anything for me. So at the end of the day, there are definitely some positives and some negatives for me on this guy. I like the body they used. I like the head sculpt. I like the paintwork on him. I like the coloring for the silver. Even though it could be more chrome, I still like what they did here for sure. I like the fact that we got so many hands. That's kind of crazy for a Marvel Legends figure these days. And then we do get effect pieces, which I'm always in the market for. I just don't like these effect pieces, and I really don't think they fit the character. We do get the surfboard, of course, but I don't think that it's implemented very well. It needs a stand. It's just, there's no better way to say it. It needs a stand, and they did not give us one. So that's kind of where I am with this figure. I like the bulk of him, but there's some nitpicky things that I don't care for, and then that board is definitely a pain point for me. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.